and welcome to the Resilience Reflex Show. I'm your host, Zaheen Nanji. And today we are going to talk about the 9 keys to bring forth what you want. Now, this is really the first episode in the last 14, because this is number 15, that I have decided to not have a guest on board today, but instead to share with you the message about the 9 keys to bring forth what you want. And I'm doing this so that I can see how it works out, because Kathy and I are deciding, Kathy is my co-host, we are deciding to do more of the teachable moments through the Hangout and through the podcast for next year, 2016. So you may be wondering, well, why are you doing this now? At the time that you're watching this Hangout or listening to the podcast on iTunes, it is November 29th, 2015. This means you only have 1 month left, really, before the year wraps up. Wow, where did 2015 go? Right, Kathy?
Exactly, that's right.
And so we thought that why not close the year with a bang and open up the other one in 2016 with a high vibe, so that you know now exactly what you want. And like every episode from now on, except for next one, I'm going to offer a freebie to you. And I've been trying that out for the last few ones, and it's been going really well. So for this one, you can go to my website that used for the ones who are watching. It's right on the screen, zaheennanji.com. And for those listening, it's zaheennanji.com, ZAHEENNANJI. And if you go on there, on the homepage, you will see the Resilience Reflex show. Click on that, go to episode number 15, and download your worksheet where you can start to work on the 9 keys to bring forth what you want. So before we start, I would like to ask Kathy to introduce herself. Kathy, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Zaheen. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Good. As Zaheen mentioned, my name is Kathleen Caldwell. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist and health coach. And when I deal specifically with menopausal women in my practice, I help them to alleviate those annoying hot flashes, those extra 10 pounds that creep up overnight on us, the sleepless nights, all the stress. And I help them to become, joy-filled, loving women again and loving their life. So
that sounds great. So when I go through menopause, I know who to talk to, which means I haven't gone through yet. Okay. No. So I am excited to talk to you about this today. And again, for those of you watching, we are going to talk about the 9 keys to bring forth what you want. And you can go to my website to download your worksheet and work alongside, or I would actually suggest to just listen to us and then work on it later. And for those of you listening on the podcast, make sure you go on and again, download the worksheet. So I want to start first with my story and where the 9 keys came from. So the 9 keys actually came from the Wealthy Mind program. And to learn about that, you go to thewealthymind.com. And I learned about that through NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, with Kris and Tim Hallbom. And they own the NLP Institute in California. So when I went to go learn the Wealthy Mind with them, that was in February of 2009. And it was only a 2-day, and something happened when I changed the belief that I held about money and wealth. Something just shifted, because after that, things just started to come into my life, and I thought, wow, it wasn't always happy-go-lucky. It was pretty intense sometimes, like I lost some and I won some. But I noticed I started to attract things into my life better. I went on to then become a trainer for the Wealthy Mind program, and I was able to teach that. So today, when I'm offering this to you, just so you know that I am a trainer. Okay, so let me share with you again what happened after 2009. So in April of that year, we got an offer on a land that we had that was sitting by a lake. Nothing was happening. And we made double the amount that we bought for it. We took that money and we invested it into a commercial building where I am right now sitting here. And this is the wellness center that my husband and I own. It's been 5 years now that we have been doing this. So he actually is an RMT, so a masseuse or a massage therapist. And I too am one, but my passion is speaking, doing workshops, sharing my message like this. Okay, so we work hand in hand together. So we built this, and of course it was a lot of money, and we went into debt, but we paid it off. But you know what happened after 2009 was 2010. 2010, I bought 3 rental units in 2010. It was a nightmare. So it was a duplex and another house that in the town that we are in. We sold the one that was here, but we kept the duplex, and that's been cash flowing pretty good. 2013, I wrote a book, and it's a very short book on Attract Your Ideal Weight, which is right here. So you can see it's a very small book, but it won an award with Global eBook Awards. 2015, which is this year, I wrote another book, which is this one here, The Resilience Reflex, 8 Keys to Transform Barriers into Success in Life and Business. That became an international bestseller on Amazon. Now, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I'm just trying to let you know that if I, a girl here in small town Alberta with a population of 10,000, can do this, so can you. And honestly, it happened after I took the Wealthy Mind program and I subconsciously worked the 9 keys into my life. I did that, and I subconsciously do that all the time. So with that, I know you want to know what those are. Well, the first one is goal. Now, Kathy, you agree that having a goal is very important, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you agree that with a goal, it has to be a target? I find that if you shoot randomly, you're not going to get anywhere, right?
No, that's right.
Well, in Alberta, I mean in Canada, we have the hunting season here now this month, right? And my husband is a hunter too. And he has to look for a target so that he can aim the right way and get what he wants, right? Yeah. Same thing with the goal. If you don't have a goal and you don't know what you're shooting for, you'll just shoot randomly and then you'll wonder what's happening. Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever had a goal where you've said, next year, I promise I'm going to be more healthier or I'm going to eat better? Well, what does that mean? I mean, eating better can be anything, but what does that really mean? Does it mean that now you are going to eat a meal in the morning before you go to work instead of skipping it? Does it mean that you are going to be consistent in doing your blogs for your business? Does it mean that you are going to incorporate exercise at least 3 times a week instead of just saying, I'm going to exercise more? Do you see what I'm trying to get to? It has to be smart and measurable. So I'm going to give you an example for this year. So for those of you who know me already know that I rebranded my whole business and my speaking career this year. And I decided that I was going to increase my fee. I was not even charging that much. And if they told me, well, can you speak for free? It would be, yes, I will. Fine, that's okay. But I grew my business and I went to a 3-digit growth, 240%. Woohoo! That's great. That's amazing. But that was my goal for this year. Now, what is your goal for this year? If you want to make more, I want you to be realistic about it. So for example, if you made 60,000 this year or 30,000, can you make 35,000? Can you make 65,000? Is that your goal? Is that something that you can get to? So how are you going to get to it? Kathy, what did you think about your goal this year?
Well, for me, my goal was similar to yours in that I am transitioning my bricks and mortar business to online, and I'm also rebranding myself and in the process of getting a new website constructed.
Perfect.
That's my goal for the end of this year. So I will go into the new year with a new business look.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I did this year. I kind of worked on my website and how I was going to market things. And this is what I got this year. And it grew, with the book and everything. And now I have another goal for next year. And that is to build an online course from my book, which is right here. And that's my goal for next year. And that will increase the revenue stream again. So what is your goal? Now, in the worksheet, I've asked you to write your goal down, but make sure it's realistic and measurable. So that's key number 1. Key number 2 is intent. Oh, and I had little things for you here. See, we did goal and we did intent. Now we're doing intent. Okay. So intent is really magical, and that comes from the word intendo, which means to stretch forward. So if your goal is, for example, here, if your goal is here, your intent is here, which means you're stretching forward to meet your goal, okay? And this is what intent is. It comes from the Latin word intendo. Now, intent also is great when you're going in to do something. So say if you're going into a business meeting, what outcome do you want? So before you go in, set your intent. If you're going for an interview for a job or for a project or something, set your intent before you go in. What do you want? Like I mentioned, I'm in the wellness center right now that we've had for 5 years, and my husband's a masseuse or a massage therapist, RMT for short, RMT. Okay. And he is so well known in this town now. And anyone who has a bad headache or bad hip or anything like that, they will say, go see Badur at Shanti Wellness Center. We even have, people who drive an hour and a half just to come see him. And one day I asked him, I said, when you go into a massage, what is your intention? And he looked at me and he thought, it's when I want to make sure that when the client is leaving my room, that he or she has got way less pain. If it was a 10, it's now a 2 or a 1 or it's gone. And if it's not, then I haven't done my job well. And that's my intent. Isn't that awesome, Kathy?
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah. That's great.
And that's why I think he has such a great way to heal people, because that's what his intent is about. And that's why he gets referrals. Kathy, do you have an intent when you go, say to coach a client, or when you're seeing a friend, or if you go into a meeting?
Definitely when I have clients, it's for them to work on 1 or 2 small steps for the week ahead, and they have to be agreeable that they're going to do that.
Yeah.
That's easily done for them and measurable for them, and they can achieve them. Because I don't want them getting frustrated or whatever. I want them to be able to achieve that. So it's really a partnership between the two of us.
Yeah.
We talk about it, and what are the 1 or 2 small steps you're going to achieve in the week to come.
And that's a great goal to have for your client.
Mm-hmm.
And a great intent then, right? Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we covered the first 2 keys. The third one is your state of mind. And here we go, state of mind. Okay, and state of mind is this. So let me ask you this, Kathy. When you are driving and you feel rushed and you're like, get out of my way, I have to get there, turn green, now I need to go, right? Versus you're on time and you're driving and everything's turning green lights for you and everything's fine. Would you rather be in that rushed and angry and anxious mood, or would you rather be in that calm, cool, collective mood?
Well, absolutely. Calm and cool, collective. Always.
Right. That's right. So imagine the people who are in a state of mind of always being worried and always being in fear and always being anxious about stuff. Imagine the state of mind that they are in and what kinds of things they are attracting to them. It's like the person in the car, right, who is anxious and trying to get there and wants, the same kind of things. And they are wondering, why is there so much traffic? Why is everything turning red on me, right? Like all the traffic lights turning red. But they're attracting that.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into a grocery store and you find someone who's in a bad mood and doesn't even smile, you don't want to be with that person, right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So state of mind is so important because that, again, will affect how you get to your goal. Your state of mind, again, will affect how you get to your goal. If you're always angry and worried, guess what? You'll always doubt yourself and you'll never get here. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That's right.
Am I echoing, by the way?
No.
Okay. Okay. Fourth key is life, purpose, and passion. So Kathy, tell the viewers and the listeners, what is your life, passion, and purpose?
Well, for me, in 2005, I got very sick. I had really terrible perimenopause. My hormones were all unbalanced. I had a lot of stress and some other physical problems. And I, of course, was going to doctors and specialists, and they could only say, take this prescription drug, here, you need surgery, whatever, which only made my situation worse, almost fatally so. So that was in 2005, 2006. And in 2006, I was hospitalized 9 times.
Wow.
And I had 3 surgeries. Finally, in January of 2007, which also happened to be the year I was turning 50 years old, I said, I need to become a health advocate for myself.
Yeah.
And if I can help one woman to not have to go through what I went through, that is what my passion is going to be. And that is my mission, to help women to become their own health advocates and not, just give up and say, well, they said it's all in my head, or there's, nothing we can do, because that's ridiculous. There's always something that you can do.
Yes. And I completely agree with that.
And so at 50 years of age, I went back to school and took my nutritional certification. And it was making a very positive situation out of, almost 2 years. That was a horrible situation. And, it completely has changed my life. And I'm hoping the lives of others for what I do. And my husband and I've always been, we've been in the self-serve purified water business for 23 years. So in a way, we were in a health industry.
Yeah.
By educating people to drink, purified water that's fundamental to our health.
Yeah.
So it was just incorporating my practice in with his, and like you, Zaheen, my husband and I work very closely together in our two businesses because they do work well together. But now that's my passion
Wow.
is other women not to go through what I went through, needlessly. So,
I just want to
yeah.
share that when you were saying that, Kathy, your face became very, like, I could tell that you were really passionate about it because your voice and your physiology really changed.
Yeah.
And I felt it was really coming from the heart. And that is what I mean by the fourth key, which is make sure you know what your passion and purpose is. And it's okay if you got it at the age of 50, right? Hey,
Yep.
never too late.
And that's what I want. I want women to know it's never too late. I don't care what age you are. If you have a mission and a passion to share to whatever it is, go for it.
Yes.
Because I tell women that all the time. Like I wish obviously I had learned this a long time ago, but if you want to do something, I don't care. If you're 80, 90 years old, go for it.
Go for it. You heard that? Go for it.
That's right.
I too have to share, Kathy, that my husband, he is older than I am, of course, but he also became an RMT at 50. Like, he actually practiced fully at that age, because before that he had a retail store and he would just massage people, just, here you go, and it was just a hobby. And
Yeah.
and I'm just coming back again to this, and I told him that you feel so good when you heal people, and I know you're doing it for free because you feel guilty about charging it. And I am talking to all the coaches out there who feel the same way, that you feel that you're helping people and you don't feel like charging because it's not right. Well, let me tell you this. They wouldn't have come to you if you were not there.
Yeah.
Okay? They've come to you because they want you, right?
Yeah.
People would come to my husband just as a hobby because he would fix their headache, and they would be like, wow, and you don't want anything for this? No, no, no. And I told him, how dare you hide your gift from the world?
That's right.
How dare, and I'm going to repeat that for all the coaches out there. How dare you hide your gift for the world?
Yeah, that's right.
And the money is just a transaction. You're exchanging your service for money. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to trade your service for maybe a job they do really well, say if they're good with doing like websites or whatever, then do it that way. But it's only a transaction. Okay? Yeah. So if you don't know what the passion, what you want to do, I highly recommend, again, there's so many books out there, but of course I'd recommend mine, The Resilience Reflex, okay, and read the chapter on passion and purpose and answer the questions there. I also have questions for you, like I said, in my freebie, which is a download, that's on my website. Okay, so go to zaheennanji.com. Episode number 15, go down and download the worksheet. Okay, so we talked about life purpose, and now what's the next one? Let's see. Okay, the fifth one is beliefs. Let's talk about beliefs. I'm just going to cover that. There you go. Beliefs. And in my book, again, I write about the 4 kinds of systems that we have around, beliefs, and that's a whole lesson on its own, so I'm not going to go into that here. But that is a huge thing, or a key attractor. If you have a belief that it's too hard to earn money, or only the rich get what they want, or the rich are corrupt, or anything like that, then you'll never make money, or you'll never feel like you can get there. And I'm only talking about money and wealth right now, but let's go to even food and weight. Like, Kathy was saying, right? You help women who go through menopause and have got issues around health. But if they had the belief, Kathy, that, menopause will always get to me.
Yes.
Do you think that they're going to get better? No.
No, they will not. No.
Right? But if they change that belief to, if I change the way I eat, or if I change the way I look at my health, or if I change one habit, that will change the way I feel when I'm going through menopause.
That's right.
Now that is a completely different way of thinking, right?
Yes.
And to change your belief systems, you have to go through evidence building. And again, I'm not going to go too much into that, but I'm planning to do a hangout just on belief systems next year. Okay, so stay tuned. Kathy, did you hold a belief through your adult life, or even when you started your business, were you holding on to a limiting belief about that, or even about your health?
Not so much with my health. But definitely, and I think everybody goes through this, especially in any type of holistic business, that just like your husband was, I shouldn't be charging for this. Like, I should be giving this as a service. But and so many people in the holistic industry go out of business because you can't do that.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with charging for our services. And as you say, it's a gift we need to share with everybody. They need what we have to give them.
Yes.
And
yes.
until you get to that point that you know that, and it's okay to charge for your services, you will not get ahead in your business. And I see that especially with the younger people coming into the business who have no business background. Fortunately for me, I've been in a business background. I understand that, but they don't teach you that in nutrition school.
Yes.
They teach you about nutrition and health, but they don't teach you about business. So, it's really sad for me to see great young practitioners come into this industry, but they have no business understanding, and it's really hard for them to get past that point.
So, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because that also reminded me of the fact that when we opened up the business, and this is a true story, we had just opened up, and we had a friend who owned a franchise, a food franchise, and I don't want to say which one on here. So he came in and he said to me, how could you open up a wellness center or a business with no clients? And it's true, we had 0 clients, 0. And now this is our fifth year in business, and we're doing good. Mm-hmm. And he said, I could never do that. I need a turnkey business. That's why I went for the food franchise. And I go, and how is that going for you? And he goes, Zaheen, I can't sleep at night, because he bought 3 and there's so much like stuff in his head. He goes, I have to think about staffing, I have to think about inventory, I have to think about, like on and on. And he goes, it's hard to sleep. And I go, okay, but look at the belief he had. Whereas we felt it was okay to open up a business with 0 clients and we can just build onto it. Now, I'm not saying his is right or wrong, or mine is right or wrong, but look at how we just had 2 different systems. Whereas he had to have a turnkey business. I didn't care. I just knew that if I had faith in what I was doing, if I were to promote it right, I would be able to do it. Right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. So viewers and listeners, if you're listening to this, I hope you're having some aha moments like Kathy and I are having here. Okay, So Kathy, we're on the 6th key, I believe, and that one is values, which is right here, values. I didn't have enough of these, little chalkboards. So values are what is important to you. And that key is very important because, say, for example, you decide to take a job where it's high paying, but as soon as you get into that job, your office is in the basement with no windows and no one around you. And if you value being with people around you, then I don't think you'd be very happy there. Mm-hmm. Right, Kathy?
Does that make sense? I wouldn't be.
Yeah. So I think it's very important that you know what you value in what you're doing, and every context in your life, whether it's health, career, business, financial, any context of your life has to have values in it. So I know when I have a job, I want to make sure that, one of the values that's important to me is to be able to make decision on my terms, that I need autonomy. And if I don't get that, and if I'm micromanaged, then I can't handle it, right? So that's important. So, or in my business, I need to be able to voice my opinion to my partner, who is also my husband, and for him to understand where I'm coming from. And a lot of people say, you guys hardly fight, you're always happy-go-lucky, da-da-da. And I think it's because we communicate in a way where we respect each other's values, right? So, Kathy, let me ask you this. Give me an example of a value that you have, whether it's in your health or your life or your relationship or your business.
Okay. So interesting that you were talking about previously the gentleman with the food service franchise. When my husband and I started our self-serve water business 23 years ago, he had worked for 2 companies previously. And again, they were Canadian companies who supposedly went bankrupt, but then again turned around and opened up. I have a real problem with that Canadian law says people can do that. Mm. So we had enough of that, and we started our business in the purified water business because we both looked at each other and said, we can do this. Mm-hmm. We took a, again, we had, like you, we had 0 clients, 0 people. We had a computer, that's all we had. And we started, hitting the streets, knocking on doors. But that was our value in business. That didn't sit right with us. You don't do that. That's not in a business sense. You don't go bankrupt and then 2 months later spring up again as a business. And so
I think the word you're looking for is integrity.
Integrity is a value.
Yes.
You have to me, you have to have that in if you're going to be in business.
Yes, that's right. And
I hope you would.
ethic, right?
Ethics, like and honesty and sincerity. And, here we are, again, like you, my husband and I, we don't fight. We have been married for a long time, we get along great. And I think when, for the most part, husbands and wives are in business, I think that does bring them closer together. And you have to really respect each other.
Yeah.
And talk to each other. And as you say, you have your own style of communication that works to be able to work in business together and have a good home life. It's not an easy situation always. And but if you can do it, it makes for a great success in both places.
It does.
So, yeah.
And I truly agree with that. So couples in business, yeah, it's just a mixture of everything. It's the respect that you give each other. It's the trust. Trust is huge, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And I think there's a value in there in itself that if you value each other's opinions and each other's strengths and weaknesses, then and then only will you be able to bring forth what you want in your businesses as a couple, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So we have 3 more keys. I know we're about 35 minutes in, but we'll do this very quick. So the next key is competency, right there, competency. And competency comes from doing something consistently and researching it and educating yourself in it. So for example, I know when I wanted to write my books, right there, this one here, especially this one actually, I knew at that point that I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to self-publish my book instead of going through a publisher and making them money. And I wanted to make the money myself, but I had no idea how to do it, how to put it on Amazon and things like that. So I became competent by getting on into a program through a coach, and the name of the program is Author Audience Academy. And if you want to know more about that, you can go to zaheennanji.com, click on resources, and then just scroll down and you'll see Author Audience Academy, and just click on that. The reason I took on that program, and it's through Shelly Hitz, is the coach, because she just was so competent from doing 35 Amazon Kindle books. She was so competent on how to put it on Amazon. Like, who would you go to? Someone who had put on 1 Kindle book on Amazon, or someone who's done 35 Kindle books on Amazon? You know the answer. All right. So I thought, well, she knows what she's doing. She can teach me. And she even taught me how to make sure I had the right keywords, the right information, the right way to market it. Yes, granted, I had a book coach, but he taught me how to outline my book in a way that it flowed well. So that's different. I didn't know how to publish it. So I became competent by joining a program and learning. So that's one way of becoming competent, okay? Very important key to bring forth what you want. Same with the business that we have, the Wellness Center. My husband and I had to become competent in running it. So how did we do that? By talking to other, people who had the similar businesses in other towns and asking them, how did you do it? How did you market it? We would take them out for lunch. We would phone them up, but we would take action. Okay. Kathy, do you have an example on how you can teach or on competence?
Well, I'm hoping my clients think that I'm competent in educating them about whatever they come to see me about, whether it be, what their health goals are, nutrition goals, or, if they're having problems with stress, obviously with menopausal issues. I hope that they feel that I am competent in giving them the help that they need.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Okay, so the second last one, which is the 8th key, is closure. So right there, closure. And I think that's so important for bringing forth what you want, because if we hold a grudge, if we're holding things, that energy from that is holding us behind, okay? So this year, 2015, like I said before when I introduced the show here today, I said to you, we only have a month left to wrap up 2015, and I want you to wrap it up with a bang. And the reason I said that was because I knew I was going to talk about closure. So if you're holding on to any grudge, any anger onto someone or something or a situation, forgive. I'm not saying forget, I'm saying forgive. There's a difference, because when you do that, you're actually holding on to the power you have, and you're letting everything else which is negative go, so that you can move on and attract the positive stuff in your life. When you hold on to anger and grudges, you're still having some negative energy around you, and you're attracting the negativeness back into your life, and it'll be hard to go over that and bring forth what you want. Am I saying that right, Kathy? Do you agree with me?
I absolutely agree, because when I have my clients, I can't think of one client I have not had until they let go of past issues, whatever that might be, then they cannot move forward into whatever goal it is that they have come to see me about. You have to let go of the past to move into the present and to the future, and to get to that goal that you want to achieve. You got to let go of whatever, as you say, anger, grief, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's when they have their breakthroughs, is when they're ready to let that go.
Yes, that's when you have the breakthroughs. It's so true. And I just wanted to say that, when I said not to forget, what I meant by that was to take the learning lessons from that situation that is holding you back, and to find out what can I learn from this so I can move forward, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, we're in the last key. So let's just recap what we have done so far, okay? We talked about goals and making sure it's measurable. So make sure you have a goal for next year. And again, you can download the worksheet at, I'm just going to put my arrow right there, ZaheenNanji.com, and click on the Resilience Reflex Show. Go to episode number 15 and get the worksheet that will help you get through all the 9 keys. So we talked about goals, and I already have a goal for next year for both the Wellness Center and my speaking career. So I already have that already done. Next one, we talked about state of mind. So again, make sure that it's positive, that you're attracting all that back, that if you have a great state of mind, you will bring forth more of what you want. Then we talked about life purpose and passion. And you heard me and Kathy go quite a long time on this one. So make sure that you either read books on it, and if you're still not sure what you want to do, get some books. And there's so many out there, and read about how to find that for you, your life purpose and passion. And then we talked about beliefs and values right there. And by the way, like I said, if you need to know more, grab my book, The Resilience Reflex. It's on Amazon, on iBooks, Kobo, all that stuff, all those nice, bookstores, online bookstores. Then we talked about competency, and we talked about how you need to get competent in what you want to do. Even with my speaking career, you think I just did it like that? No, I went to courses on how to make my speaking a business. And I learned from those who have done it, who are competent at it, so I can get there. Okay? I've spent a lot, and I'm sure Kathy can attest to that. We have spent a lot in training programs.
Yes.
Okay? That's how you get competent.
Yeah.
Closure, let it go. Forgive, and move on, so that you can hold on to the power. When you do not forgive, you're letting the other thing, if it's a person, a situation, hold your power. Let it go, fly, just go, and you say that you're done, and you forgive. Last one is M field. And M stands for morphogenetic. And in psychology, in chaos theory, they talk about morphogenesis. It's like when you worked on all the 8 keys, you automatically have this field around you where you attract the things you want. We can also call it M for magic, M for money, M for matrix. You pick. Okay? So it's like a thumbprint. It's like your signature field. that when you have really aligned yourself with all the 8 keys, you will seriously attract more of what you want. And I told you my story at the beginning of how I started to attract things after the Wealthy Mind program that I took. And it's true. I really did get what I want. And I'm still getting it. It takes time and it takes effort. But I'm getting there. And so is Kathy. So Kathy, we're done with the 9 keys. Did you want to add anything about the M field? Morphogenetic magic field?
Yeah. No, I just think overall, Zaheen, I think it's really, really important. Obviously, people set goals. I think it's really important that they do self-reflection and journal what they want, write it down.
Yes.
For what their purpose is, because once you write it down, it's evidence, you're going to do that and you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it more achievable. But I think self-reflection is so important, and I think more people need to do that.
Yes.
And really reflect what's going on in their life, what they want.
Yeah. I like what you mentioned about the part where you want to write it down, and please do that. In fact, we are going to do a high vibe event on December 20th. So for those of you listening and watching the show, we on December 28th, which is a Monday, I am planning your resilient year, which is going to be a high vibe event where I'm inviting you to come onto the show, or to just be a listener, or if you want to watch, that's fine. But we are going to go through your accomplishments for 2015, and this is your time to be in your state of mind where you are really talking about your accomplishments and giving out the vibes that you want. And then we'll also talk about the goals that you'll have for 2016, so that you can go into 2016 with knowing that you have the intent, you have your goals written down, so that the law of attraction is going to bring forth what you want in your subconscious, and you'll change your behavior so that you will start attracting the things into your life automatically. And that's what's been happening with people like Kathy and me, where we know that we need these 8 keys to get into the M field. Okay, so enough of that. We're 45 minutes in, and I'm going to say, make sure you get the worksheet from my websites, and then also on December 28th, I will send that information out in an email through my website. So if you're not on my email list, make sure you get on there, as if you want to be a part of the December 28th high vibe event, your resilient year, a high vibe event. Until then, thank you, Kathy, for coming on to the show and being my co-host, and we'll continue to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Bye-bye.